Thursday, almost there, folks. Welcome to Frontline, 6 o'clock here on the East Coast. And it's been about 42 hours since the government shut down, with other fresh news from the White House. President Trump has determined that the U.S. is in a war with drug cartels. The president reportedly sending a notice to several congressional committees detailing why the military is blowing drug boats out of the water. Stay tuned for that. And the less favorite Maryland dad, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the MS-13 gang member, has been denied asylum by an immigration judge in Baltimore. Now, Garcia does have 30 days to appeal, but the administration has offered a variety of fine deportation destinations like Uganda, Costa Rica, or Eswatini, which I don't even know where that is. And in the UK, 2 people are dead, several more injured in a car ramming and stabbing attack at a synagogue in Manchester. I mean, good thing they banned guns, right? Police identifying the killer as Jihad al-Shamaini. Shami? I don't know. His first name is Jihad. I mean, like, really, who saw that coming? But first, Democrats are just being whiny babies. It's so funny. We got a good one today. Let's do this. Give it up, guy. You lost the narrative. Hakeem Jeffries and friends. Absolute desperation. Trying to make this shutdown seem anything but what it actually is.
Republican and Democrat kiddies cannot agree on what should be funded. Democrat kiddies want you to have health care. Republican kiddies do not. Republican kiddies control the Senate, House, and the White House, so they're using that to cut your health care and give money to billionaires. Democrat kitty tries to negotiate, but Republican kitty keeps running away. He has a vacation to get to. Uh-oh, suddenly the money you pay for your health insurance has tripled.
This is so cringy. I'm like, please keep tweeting through the election, Democrats. I'm trying to think what actually caused the healthcare prices to triple. Oh, right. It was, in fact, the Democrats under Obamacare. The Democrats, look, they just don't connect with people anymore. They used to. They used to be the party of pop culture who could talk shop and be funny and win the narrative. Republicans used to be the stiffs like Mitt Romney and Jeb Bush. Please clap. Trump literally broke these people with their own game. This is what Democrats have devolved to now.
When I'm back in the Oval Office, say it to my face. Say it to my face.
So Trump did. He invited him to the Oval Office, and Hakeem Jeffries apparently didn't say anything when he had to sit there and look at the Trump 2028 hat sitting on the Resolute desk. And then Hakeem Jeffries goes out after that and gives another speech like some tough guy.
Y'all, I ain't scared.
Yes, you are. This is why the Democrats are losing. Not only the narrative on the shutdown, but on literally anything. Because that press conference that Hakeem Jeffries was just at right there, where he said, I ain't scared, according to Politico, who's supposed to be friendly to them, got, quote, a few dozen viewers. And it was put on by some guy who supposedly had like 13 million followers on TikTok or whatever. And the thing is they are so outraged about is because Trump posted that awesome video, the sombrero video. Let's just contrast this. Just on Trump's X account, which was a repost of the original video, that got 34.4 million views. This is why Democrats don't have control of a single body of government. You don't even know who's in charge of your own party, Democrats.
Speaker Emerita, there was a thought from the Republicans that AOC is directing this, and she said that senators are welcome to go to her office directly. Is she driving that?
Why are you saying such a ridiculous thing?
I'm just quoting what AOC said. She said go to her office directly. Do you think there's any credibility to that?
Directing this.
Yeah, she kind of is. And if you have to clarify who's leading your party, you're not in charge of your party, Nancy. And the little leverage the Democrats did have by shutting down the government over illegals getting health care, they gave up that leverage. And Trump doubled down, owning you guys again. You guys just walked right into it, too. He tweeted out or put on Truth or whatever it's called, I can't believe the radical Democrats gave me this unprecedented opportunity. Look, this is exactly what I voted for. And the Democrats are finally waking up to the fact that they're becoming ineffective and irrelevant.
So we played sound from Vice President Vance, not just defending that AI racist video of Minority Leader Jeffries wearing a sombrero, but also like celebrating that video. And it was playing on a loop in the briefing room today. What are you hearing from the inside about that?
It was not only just playing on a loop in the briefing room, they were playing that mariachi music as well over the loudspeakers for all the press that was coming in and out of the White House today. It just kind of gives you a window, John, into how they're dealing with this and how they believe they have the upper hand when it comes to the messaging here.
It's so good. Oh my, can you believe it? Yes, you're getting it. We don't care about your insults anymore. We are immune to your awful opinions of it because you insult conservatives no matter what we do. And when you overly dramatic, stuck up stiffs cry wolf for literally everything, no one cares anymore. Oh, the video is racist. No, it's not. Shut up. And oh, here's the loop at the press briefing room, by the way. I mean, this is great. And we're doing this with everything. It's fantastic. Trump makes a joke. Hey, I should run for a third term. It was a joke, but libs everywhere, quoting the Constitution out, which they've never done for anything else, by the way. Trump can't run for a third term. Trump makes hats, Trump 2028, and every liberal hyperventilates into their N95 mess. You people are ridiculous. You take everything so seriously. I'm not giving him any advice here, but guys, take a wrap off. You're going to give yourself a booster-induced heart attack. They don't even have their message tight. They're all over the place with this. It's good, it's bad, and the medal for saying the most while also saying the least has got to go to this guy.
This whole Trump Republican shutdown is really boiling down to them wanting to solve the problem that we want to solve, but do it in a couple of days or a couple of weeks when we've given up our negotiating leverage. I don't think that's the kind of position that you can long stand on.
He goes on, oh, our leverage. I mean, what a wannabe aristocrat. That right there is why you guys are losing the narrative. By the way, we don't want to solve the same problem here. You guys, you Democrats, want health care paid for by me to fund illegals' health care, and we don't. In fact, we want to deport basically every single one of them back to third world countries where they came from if they're here illegally. And now they're trying to spin it as, oh, we aren't for health care for illegals. Yes, you are. Yes, you absolutely are. Don't take my word for it. Look back to any time. The 2020 Democrat presidential primary debate.
Raise your hand if your government plan would provide coverage for undocumented immigrants. Okay.
Not only did all of them on stage say that they wanted it, the entire crowd was cheering for it. Did they think we would forget that? But you know why else you guys are losing this? Look at how you handled the shutdown. When you guys under Obama shut down the government, you closed war memorials. You literally paid parks officers overtime to go guard and shut down and block veterans from visiting war memorials. But you let Occupy Wall Street protests happen in the same area. When Obama shut down the government, he closed the oil drilling permits office. Trump is keeping them open. He's stamping those things out as fast as he can, staffed as essential departments. So your gas prices don't go up because, Putin is kind of not exporting oil to us anymore. And the Democrats gotta stop telling us that we're being held hostage as a country. I'm not a hostage. Democrats are. I could care less about this government shutdown. It affects me in approximately no way. In fact, my crypto account today is screaming off the charts. I do think that Republicans should put forward a single issue bill to pay our military and just see what the Democrats do. If that doesn't pass, they're over for the next 3 election cycles. But most of America, I think, is actually better off because people generally succeed in the absence of government. And there's actually proof of this. In fact, a shutdown may have saved Belgium a little while ago. They were shut down for 541 days. And you know what happened? Their GDP per capita went up, not down. Their economy grew because there were no new regulations. And the folks who enforced the current regulations that were hampering their economy in the first place weren't there. You call it a shutdown. I call it, a spending break. So, hey, let's give it a go. Maybe 30 days later, Trump will have eliminated 1 million bureaucrats that will never come back and that were, by their own definition, non-essential. Have a nice day. Chad Prather, host of the Chad Prather Show. Sir, I'm okay with this.
I listen, I still got groped at the airport this morning, so apparently the things that
Lucky
are
you.
That's essential. That was I wish this was hyperbole at this point, Carl. Democrats care more about illegals than they do about Americans. It's that simple. And no one can argue that. It's not a hyperbole. It's a reality. Democrats, they don't want a clean continuing resolution to keep the government running. They wave their hands. They talk about health care protections. What kind of protections do they want? They don't want them for veterans, not for seniors or the working class Americans that pay their taxes. They want the freebie subsidies, backdoor benefits to folks who broke the law to cross the border to come in. And they call that compassion. They call that a moral high ground. It's ridiculous, Carl. And you know, they're holding the country hostage. And you know what? Keep it shut down. Like you said, I didn't ask for bureaucrats to run my life. No. So get rid of them. They're like parasites.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Speaking of that, Chad, this is like the funniest video. I want you to listen to this. Like, really pissed off IRS worker this morning on MSNBC. Roll this.
The American people, the American taxpayers, the American workers, government workers need to be put first. And I think America's tired of that. They have families, they have children, they have elderly parents, they have financial commitments, mortgages, rent, car notes, and on and on and on. And it is unfair, unacceptable for government workers to be held at bay, not allowed to do their job. We want to work.
Now, Chad, my thing that I am laughing, and I am throwing it right back in that dude's face, because during COVID, all those bureaucrats had their jobs. We lost our jobs in the private sector, and none of them batted an eye for us. So you know what? I can tell that guy, pound sand, dude. You're out of work.
That's right. Hit the road. Nobody cares about you. Like I said, the non-essential, or I said the essential stuff, it's still there. Your mail's still going to get delivered. You're still going to get groped at the airport. What they're engaged in, Carl, is a political hostage taking. It's arrogance. They're treating the federal budget like ransom money, while American citizens, the ones who voted, died defending the country, fought in the wars, raised children, held jobs, all that stuff, they get to shove to the back of the line. They didn't care about us during COVID. They killed the economy. Businesses are still going out because of the results of that. I mean, we had to wave goodbye to grandma while she died alone in the back of the plexiglass, you know, through the plexiglass in the back of the nursing home. And so, you know, you want to talk about what's fair and equity and inclusion? You didn't care about anybody during COVID. And these people should not be paid. I mean, these
back paid. Yeah, no.
Absolutely not. Ridiculous. So don't tell me about fairness. You're pandering to open border radicals and identity politic mobs, people who don't pay for the rules or make the rules, and they're going to spend it as health care for all. It's a joke.
But also, you work for the IRS, so you get about approximately, give or take, zero sympathy from me if they eliminate all the jobs. All right, so MSNBC, Michael Steele, okay, this guy used to be in charge of the Republican Party, says that Trump is using the shutdown to consolidate power. Roll it.
Were we now at a situation where they will indiscriminately fire thousands, hundreds of thousands of federal employees with no intent of bringing them back, and certainly consolidating that power in Donald Trump? Folks, this is the big setup for 2028. Don't be stupid. See what's in front of you, because it's happening.
I want to do like a timeline of like 2024 through, I don't know, we got 3.5 more years and then 8 more years of J.D. Vance, and then probably Barron will come in there at some point. Like, I just want to be like, Democrats, you are here. You're just starting this cycle.
Well, the thing about that is Americans are truly waking up. They are seeing the smoke and mirrors. They see these people fighting tooth and nail to keep subsidies and benefits and protections and a spending bill that favors non-citizens. And they're going to try to gaslight you with their straw man arguments. And meanwhile, everything that we do care about is underfunded, not taken care of. I mean, at what point in time are you going to represent us? I didn't elect bureaucrats. They get appointed in there. You can't run them out. They're like cockroaches. They're running everything. And we got 4 million unelected people running the things within the beltway of Washington, D.C. People are seeing that. They're sick of it. And guys like these talking heads that want to pontificate and condescendingly look down their nose at the average American hardworking blue-collar person, they can, as you said, pound sand.
Yeah. But, you know, real quick, Chad, at some point there has to be a reckoning. And, like, look, Are some people losing their income that are good people? Probably, and I'm sorry for that. But at the same time, it's like perfection, you know, can't be the enemy of progress here. And if this is the mechanism, the Democrats literally handed this to Trump on a silver platter, was like, oh, hey, we're giving you the authority to basically eliminate the positions for all these people. Okay.
Yeah, listen. When a shutdown hurts Americans, whether it's furloughed workers or delayed permits or veterans waiting, you say that they're collateral damage. You call that, a cost we're willing to pay. In other words, screw Americans for getting in our way, for rewarding these little pet projects and identity politics games that we play. And that's their version of leadership. It's not leadership. It's all about control. And so, you know what? You want to shut down the government? Shut down the government. Because again, all you're going to do is push your priorities. And like I said, you're just taking everybody hostage.
Right. And you know what? Like, the government works for us, and I don't feel like they have been recently, so maybe time for a clean slate. Chad Prather, my man.
Thanks, Carl.
All right, coming up, guess which city has nightly riots, swears it doesn't need the National Guard, and has police officers who can't and won't enforce the law. But first, do you trust the mainstream media? Because if not, you're not alone. Those details next.
Real heroes.
Real conflict.
Real threats.
Real heart.
Now, there's a place America gets its news.
Newsmax. We're real news for real people.
Millions are turning off the old channels
and switching to Newsmax, the fastest growing cable news channel in America.
No agenda,
no spin,
just the facts.
Millions watch us, so can you.
Newsmax. We're real news for real people.
Fruits and vegetables are meant to stay whole. At Balance of Nature, we freeze dry them, locking in their color, taste, smell, and thousands of phytonutrients, so you get it all. Claim this offer by using discount code Newsmax.
Oh no, is this the episode with the breakup?
Reba, we can't agree on the house.
Y'all need Realtor.com. With over 500,000 new listings every month, you could find the one today. This could be it. Better put a key ring on it. Realtor.com.
Hi folks, I'd like to tell you about YRefi. Did you know that as an accredited investor, when you invest in YRefi, your interest rate is fixed? You can invest from 1 to 5 years, and you can spread your investment over those terms that best suit your needs. You also have the freedom to take your monthly interest income or reinvest it, whatever you choose. When you invest in YRefi, your interest is calculated daily, and you're paid monthly, and should you need your money back early, there is a liquidity feature. Would you like some more information? Just call 877-80-INVEST. That's 877-80-INVEST. Or log on to investYRefi.com. That's investYRefi.com. For complete details, make sure to review the private placement memorandum and scan this QR code to view the disclosures at your leisure. YRefi, investing in America's future.
You trust the mainstream media, like the legacy, old school guys? Well, if you don't, you're definitely not alone. The analytics coming from a Gallup study done in 1972 and 2025, and the American people's trust of the media is at an all-time low. 28%. I'm actually surprised it's that high. And I'm in the media, by the way. And for Republicans, it went down to 8%. Not surprising at all, given all the things. But for Republicans between the ages of 30 and 49, it's 6%. 6%. I mean, here's why. How are we supposed to trust them when they flip-flop and like left, right? I mean, it's just too easy. Look at these headlines right here. They go back and forth. There is a million examples of this stuff. They wonder why we call them fake news. I mean, they make it too easy for us. Ross Bennett, comedian, political analyst, entrepreneur, and Cliff Maloney, Republican strategist. Ross, it's just like, how can you guys be surprised by that number?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's a great day to be a creator, bro. It's a great day because you know what? Like sometimes I look at my numbers on my page and I have better numbers than a lot of these guys, and I don't have $1 million behind me. Yeah. And you know, the longer I go doing this, the more I realize you should kind of just treat your phone and the audience and the public like a FaceTime call. You just share your thoughts and you'll be doing 90% better than all of the media organizations because they're not ever sharing original thoughts. It's all paid propaganda, and we know it.
Yeah, no, that is true. But Cliff, you've got, like with this show, I'm always like constantly, guys, hey, double check anything I say, fact check me, do whatever you got to do, open source it. Because you got people like me on this show, for example. Like, how many times have we said something on my show where we've said, hey, this is going to happen, and then it happens, and then CNN called me racist, sexist, homophobic, bigot, whatever, and we turned out to be right.
Yeah, and it happens time and time again, right? And this is the problem with anybody who's on the right, is that the media will come after you. They'll target you. They will try to vilify you. But their days are over. I mean, look at those numbers. 8% of Republicans.
Pathetic.
By the way, I've knocked tons and tons of doors across the country targeting Republicans. I need to meet these 8% of Republicans that still have hope in mass media because I just don't know who these people are. But of course we lost hope. These are the people at CNN that paled out Joe Rogan's face because he was taking ivermectin and they were trying to get their narrative across.
Yeah.
So these young people, they saw all the BS during COVID. They saw all the lies. And now with alternative media and great shows like yours where you're telling the truth, people are waking up. They want authenticity and they want the truth.
And that's the thing, Russ. COVID is like the perfect example to Cliff's point. All these people, CNN, MS Now, I guess they're called, they get kicked off of their main platform. The same agencies that told us, oh, you have to trust your healthcare institutions, they got it all wrong. And now new people took over those institutions who are actually getting it right, and they got it right during COVID. It's like, oh, those guys, we can't trust our institutions at all. It's like, pick one.
Yeah, well, the left and the right have kind of changed sides a little bit. You know, the left used to be the people who were super, scared about the government lying to you about healthcare and stuff like that. And now they're just all lining up to get their 9th booster. But I don't know if it's still that way, though. You know what I mean? You get enough turbo cancers going around, you start getting a little skeptical, even don't care who you are. And that's benefiting everybody. I think that everybody's getting more skeptical. Stay that way.
But Cliff, they also, it's just my problem is like, I consider myself a pretty normal guy. Like I didn't go to college, I didn't finish college. I went to the military. Like I kind of talk to people like, my camera crew's in here. They're usually like laughing at something I say. We're having a conversation. But I watch some of these other networks. I do have to watch them during the day to see what they're saying. And I'm like, what snooty people? Like, why would I take information from you?
Yeah, it's so cringe to watch. I mean, I keep it on just to see what my political opponents are up to. But if you really watch The View or you turn on CNN, you turn on MSNBC or whatever these things are called now, you really can't get through it. The guests that they bring on, they talk like they're on a college campus and they're having some sort of academic gaslighting event. Normal people don't want that. And look, I think the Democrats nationally are going to have a major problem because their whole messaging is the mainstream media. In 2024, the American people said, heck no, right? There was such a pushback. And I think what you just said, Carl, it's real normal people. That's where they're losing. They are just completely going in on illegal immigrants and forgetting about working class normal people. I don't know where they go politically from here, but I love that they just continue to double down.
And Ross, that's the same thing. Like The View was like, I don't understand why Pete Hegseth is so obsessed with people in the military being fit. Like they pick a reason that they pick on all of us. Jimmy Fallon, his ratings went like up a little bit and then they came crashing right back down because people were like, oh, I thought he was going to change and he actually didn't. Like this is why.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not a controversial statement to the rest of the planet. If you have a fat army, I'm fat. I can say it. I'm fat. All right.
If you have a fat army, guess
who's not afraid of you? I'm like 300 pounds. I'm 6'1" though. So my wife says I carry it well, but I don't know. I think she's just trying to stay in my good graces. But look, at the end of the day, bro, like every other country on the planet can't do these things that the left tries to shove because it doesn't work. If there's actual villages at war, if there's actual countries at war, you can't have people that are taking hormone blockers trying to figure out their emotional status to be able to perfectly pursue their orders from their higher ups. You just can't do it. It's just not a good idea, and everybody knows it, bro.
Yeah, that's the modern left today summed up. Like, let's push an ideology where 48% of the community commits suicide. Great job, Democrats. Cliff, Ross, got to leave it right there.
Thanks so much.
Hey, coming up, as the reputation of Harvard University is in free fall, speaking of liberal elites, they've decided to hire a new professor. Wait till you see who this clown is.
Prices keep climbing. Groceries, gas, everything.
I know, even with a new administration, fixing policies, keeping the economy in line will take time.
I'm so glad we signed up for Noble Gold Investments Value Lock program.
We tied our savings to gold. It's an asset that keeps pace with inflation. When prices go up, so does gold.
So when we need our cash, the value's still there.
Secure your savings with Noble Gold's Value Lock. Call 877-646-5347 or visit noblegoldinvestments.com.
Hi, my name is Damian Clark. And if you have both Medicare and Medicaid, I have some really encouraging news that you'll definitely want to hear. Depending on the plans available in your area, you may be eligible to get extra benefits with the Humana Medicare Advantage Dual Eligible Special Needs Plan. These plans have a $0 monthly plan premium. Most plans include the Humana Healthy Options Allowance. Get over $1,000 a year. That's $85 a month to help pay for covered over-the-counter items, like vitamins, pain relievers, first aid supplies, and more. The Healthy Options Allowance is loaded onto a prepaid card each month, and whatever you don't spend carries over from each month. Call today to learn about all the items covered. You could have $0 copays on hundreds of prescriptions all year long, including select brand name drugs. All plans have $0 copays for covered preventive dental services, which include 2 free cleanings a year, as well as coverage towards fillings. They also have vision coverage, including vision exams and a yearly allowance towards eyewear, such as lenses or contacts, and hearing coverage, which includes routine hearing exams and coverage towards hearing aids. Plus, your doctor, hospital, and pharmacy may already be part of our large Humana networks. So call the number on your screen now to speak with a licensed Humana sales agent. Wouldn't you love benefits like a monthly allowance to help pay for covered over-the-counter items? So if you have Medicare and Medicaid, call the number on your screen now and speak with a licensed Humana sales agent. If you're eligible, they can even help enroll you over the phone in a Humana Medicare Advantage Dual Eligible Special Needs Plan. And remember, annual enrollment ends on December 7th. So call now. Humana, a more human way to healthcare.
With the best Halloween decor from Michaels, we're not twinning. We're winning. Because Michaels has everything to show our different sides. Ooh. Don't touch my stuff. I saw it first. Mom!
Get unlimited satellite internet when you switch to Viasat. Connect, browse, and explore. From coastline to countryside, Main Street to your street. Connect wherever you live. No data caps, no contracts. Just a fast, reliable connection installed by pros. Unlimited data, endless possibilities. Visit getviasat.com or call 877-VIASAT-7 to sign up today. That's getviasat.com or 877-VIASAT-7. Viasat, internet without limits.
As if Harvard doesn't have enough problems already. They've now hired a drag queen professor. Meet Kareem Kaboob Chan, Danny, better known by his stage name, Lahore Vajistani. I'm not making this up. I wish I was kidding. He will teach 2 classes over the course of 2 semesters. Ready for this? These are page turners. Queer Enthography? I don't know, whatever. And this is in the fall, and whatever the heck this is, Rue Politics, Drag Race and Desire in the spring semester. Yeah, this will help you get a job in the private sector. This new gig emerged just days after President Trump unfroze $2.4 billion in federal grants to Harvard. Light that on fire before it gets there. Host of Ungoverned on LFA TV, Shawn Farash, and writer for KSmytheHill.com. Smythe. Shawn, this is stupid.
That's an easy way to put it. I mean, I didn't expect that. First of all, you're always trying to avoid getting in trouble, and you come on here with a guy with a name like, I don't know what it was. I'm not going to say it because that's probably going to get me in trouble, okay? But look at this person, as I'm being nice, on your screen, and this is now a professor that's teaching ethnography and Rue Politics. Okay, so like when you're, parents, just think about this. Your kid got accepted to Harvard, and you're thinking about your child's going to get this amazing job, and he's going to sit right up in front of sit up $80,000 a year, sitting right up in front of someone who's offering him a job and say, "What did you get a degree in? What was your favorite elective in college?" "Oh, I loved Rue Politics. It taught me so much about drag queens and men in the women's room." I don't get how this is worth it at all Don't go to Harvard. It's where all bad ideas come from. And that is just an absolute, talk about lighting money on fire, like you said. That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
No, I mean, I think, Shawn, you absolutely nailed it. And, you know, I've worked with PhD candidates pretty much my entire adult life.
In politics?
Listen, no, oh my gosh, no, I have self-respect. I work with people who are actually going to go on to get like jobs and hopefully change the system for the better. Politics isn't a thing. He hasn't had enough of a cultural influence to write a paper about, unless you literally just want to like vomit on a page and be like, oh, here it is. Like AI wrote most of it for me and it's all garbage, but blah, blah. I mean, this is just, look, Harvard went down the toilet a couple of years ago when we learned that pretty much everyone that works there, I mean, I'm being a little bit, hyperbolic, but pretty much everyone that works there has, plagiarized most of the stuff that they've written. They're not a serious academic institution. I just feel really bad for all of the people that went to Harvard before all of this trash, because no one is going to take those guys seriously at any point again in the future. It's I shouldn't laugh.
My wife went to Yale, and she's like, wow, Yale has gone to hell in a handbasket too. Shawn, spoiler alert for any illegals who plan to attend the Super Bowl. Roll this.
Will ICE have enforcement at the Super Bowl for the Bad Bunny Super Bowl halftime show?
Benny, there is nowhere that you can provide safe haven to people who are in this country illegally, not the Super Bowl and nowhere else. We will find you. We will apprehend you. We will put you in a detention facility, and we will deport you. So know that that is a very real situation under this administration.
So I didn't know who this Bad Bunny was, and I don't really follow sports ball, so I do know what the Super Bowl is. They're going to put ICE agents down on the field for the Super Bowl. This is great. These guys are going to get to enjoy the game.
Not only are they going to enjoy the game, hopefully the game is good, but could you imagine if one of the people performing in the halftime show is illegal and they tackle him like somebody streaking on the field? This is what I voted for. That is what I voted for. You know what else I voted for, Carl? I voted for this. My nice Trump 2028 sombrero. I voted for this too. You know why? Because we do jokes here on the cool side of the table with the cool kids, and we have a lot of fun. I want to see ICE agents tackling performers and bringing them off the field. Send them to Uganda with Kilmore or Brago.
But I want to see like Brian Urlacher style hits. And the only reason I know him is because we follow each other on Instagram. I want to see that kind of takedowns, and then they can take them off to Uzbekistan or wherever they want to put them. All right, Kay, the left's another meltdown. It's time. Like, the conversations are this is unbelievable to me. The conservatives are trying to protect women's sports, and the liberals are calling 911 to complain about them lawfully collecting signatures on public property.
Okay, anyone calling 911 on people conducting petitions to keep men out of women's sports? People calling 911 to complain that their feelings are hurt about people collecting signatures for petitions?
No, it's violence. They were saying it's violence.
It's not violence. It's not real violence, darlings. You're just a clown show. Anyone that thinks that that is violence, why don't you go live in Britain? They might do something about it in Britain. They don't care about your rights over there. They don't care about freedom of speech. Heck, you can report someone for commenting on a Facebook post saying something you don't like, and they'll get arrested over there. More people arrested in Britain for using their free speech against ridiculousness like this than in Russia in the last couple of years. Not in America. Not in America.
All right, Shawn, and I know Kay is the climatologist here, but I got to give this one to you. Antarctica is, and this is much to Greta Thunberg's chagrin, is currently experiencing significant ice gain with an estimated increase of 100 billion tons of ice last year. But, this is like, didn't they say it was global warming? And now they're saying, oh, no, it's global cooling and we're all going to die anyway.
That's right. We're back to where it was in the 70s when it was global cooling. By the way, 100 billion tons of ice, that's approximately one Chris Christie. That's unbelievable. I cannot believe how much ice has shown up over on Antarctica. What an achievement. So, and this makes sense to leftists, right? Because everything is opposite. Water is dry, up is down, down is up, 2 + 2 is 5.
Men or women.
When things get warmer, right, men or women, when things get warmer, more ice forms, apparently. They were wrong again, an inconvenient lie from Al Gore. And again, congratulations to Antarctica for adding an entire Chris Christie of ice. I'm very proud of you.
Yes, we'll put you in for the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Shawn, Kay, I think think I still have my job. Great job, guys. All right,
You're welcome.
coming up, one of Portland's safe space officers lost an assault suspect at the ICE riots last night because he wasn't allowed to enforce any action per his position. You're going to absolutely love this one next.
Hi, TV Genie.
What do you want? I wish I could find my shows easier.
I wish my primetime TV was automatically recorded.
I wish I could record more.
Well, I can't do any of those things. So here, I swapped your outfits.
Switch to Dish. Get voice control, automatic primetime recording, and more recording power.
You're welcome.
Switching from DirecTV satellite to Dish can save you over $300 in your first year.
We should get Dish.
Chubb Insurance is totally woke. CEO Evan Greenberg called President Trump's America First movement harmful on multiple levels. He said stopping men from using women's bathrooms is a threat to democracy. Chubb funds trans indoctrination of kids and declared DEI the foundation of its culture. Even funded an organization that defended a cop killer. Politics ahead of American values. Chubb puts woke into action.
Hello, everyone. It's President Donald J. Trump, and it's Trump time. Check out this red beauty. It's one of my new watches. Wear it proudly on your wrist, and everyone will know exactly what it's for, who it represents. It's really going to be something special. It's for your favorite president. Get your watch today at gettrumpwatches.com. These make a great gift. It's Trump time.
At Interactive Brokers, independent RIAs work with the best research and trading tools designed to help them outperform the markets. Meet them at Interactive Brokers Investors Marketplace for advisors. Advisors at Interactive Brokers keep all they earn on our low-cost platform, with no ticket fees or custody charges, low margin rates, and high interest earned on idle cash. To get better results, get a better platform. The best informed investors choose Interactive Brokers.
Derriere, caboose, booty, badunkadunk. No matter what you call it, if you have hemorrhoids, your tushy is no laughing matter. So don't use a cream that treats your rear end like a joke. Get serious relief with Recticare Advanced Hemorrhoidal Cream. Recticare Advanced is seriously effective with 2 powerful medicines for rapid dual-action relief, soothing the uncomfortable swelling, itching, and pain of your hemorrhoids. For serious hemorrhoid relief for your buns, get Recticare Advanced.
For pain in multiple spots like here, here, or here, Salonpas patches stick firmly and remove comfortably once your pain is gone. Salonpas. It's good medicine.
Buckle up. I got a wild one for you if today wasn't enough. After a massive Antifa riot outside of a Portland ICE facility earlier this week, the Portland Police Bureau is seeking the public's help identifying an assault suspect. Now, the 20-something-year-old white girl with blonde hair, bangs, and a septum piercing apparently got away from this officer. But here's why. The officer was what they call a dialogue liaison officer, DLO. It's, quote, a sworn Portland police member, but in the role of a liaison and cannot get involved in enforcement action. In their own description, a DLO works to build relationships with protesters and the public by providing a point of contact for communication and de-escalation during public gatherings and protests. How's that working out for you? Oh, that's right. They got away. Since the DLO can't take any action, according to the press release, he followed the suspect north on South Moody Avenue while calling in additional police resources. Now, the dialogue officer attempted to talk the suspect over to hear her side of the story. She didn't stop, So the DLO officer told her she was being detained, but she refused the lawful police order, according to them, and just walked away. They call it she fled. The safe space officer lost track of an assault suspect because when she was asked to go to jail, she said no. This reminds me of a scene from Demolition Man.
Police officers, we're not trained to handle this kind of violence. Maniac is imminent. Request advice.
With a firm tone of voice, demand maniac lie down with hands behind back.
Yeah, that worked great. You cannot make this stuff up. Patrick Dorinson, the common sense cowboy. Make this make sense.
Well, Carl, the reason why the DLO was having trouble was because the officer that usually hands out juice boxes was doing something else. And the other officer that was in charge of timeouts was busy as well. So the DLO had to try and get this young woman to cease and desist. Look, this is what happens when a couple of generations ago, we stopped tanning the hides of these young kids and started thinking, let them think they could run everything. So, you know, what do they expect in Portland? They got a police force that, what are they, running around with squirt guns? They don't even have a riot squad in that city anymore because that's just too harsh a term.
Patrick, this entire show is filled with, this is serious news. And I go to hit the can in the break, and I see the people in another department watching the show laughing. I'm like, wow, the news is so crazy that it's funny.
Yeah.
But Trump responded to the chaos in Portland saying, quote, Antifa and the radical left anarchists have been viciously attacking our federal law enforcement officers, men and women who are simply doing their job, protecting federal property and enforcing federal immigration laws and the rule of law. We will never allow mobs to take over our streets, burn our cities, or destroy America. The National Guard is now in place and has been dedicated to restoring law and order. And they are straight suplexing people. It is awesome.
Yeah, because finally an adult is in charge in Washington. A guy who doesn't brook no nonsense, and that's Donald Trump. And when he said he was going to do it, what did the authorities in Portland and the governor do? Oh, we're going to fight you guys, you know, up the resistance and all this other nonsense. Look, those cities are out of control. For 100 days, they have besieged a federal facility. 100 days. And finally, they're getting what they deserve. And that's what it should be done, and should have been done a long time ago. But the people in Portland who run things, you know, they're really not running anything.
No, for sure. And this is more out of Portland. This place really can't get their act together. The Daily Caller reporting that Reed College told a senior security official that he harmed his reputation with donors and the public by helping the FBI catch a leftist riot suspect. According to his documentation, explained his firing. They fired him.
Yeah, they fired the guy because he actually did the right thing. Lord Almighty, what kind of a country are we living in where a bunch of eggheads are worried about their donors to their little university than they are about a guy who did the right thing? By the way, if you see the picture of the ICE officer who was assaulted, he had a big gash on his cheek. Mm-hmm. This guy who was the rioter, he was using an old stop sign to try and ram through a door. And somehow Reed College wants to protect him. Look, Reed College gets federal funding. It's about time. And no more pussyfooting, no more threats, no more, we're going to do this. Nope. We got to say, jerk the federal funding tomorrow. Yeah. No more money for you guys.
Well, and Mayor Karen Bass had this to say about the Trump admin sending National Guard troops to Memphis, which is really far away from L.A., if I think so.
I believe that they have been dosing the American people so that this becomes normalized behavior. So what that is saying is that the President of the United States wants to turn the U.S. military against the American people and to tell law enforcement that they are now unleashed and they can use their guns is essentially saying go in primarily inner city communities and shoot people.
Patrick, this is like the Moneyball clip. Like, roll this.
If he's a good hitter, why doesn't he hit good?
If they're shooting people, why aren't they shooting people, you know?
Yeah, I mean, look, let's remember one thing about Karen Bass right away. She's in such deep trouble in Los Angeles. She's doing whatever she can to deflect from her miserable record of letting the city burn down and also just, you know, generally letting chaos run in the streets. Donald Trump is going to these cities because they're a mess.
Yeah.
They're a mess.
It's
the gangsters are running things, not the police department. So somebody's got to do something.
Yeah, no, I wish they would. But anyway, Patrick Dorinson, we got to leave it right there, brother.
You bet.
Appreciate it. All right, coming up, California's homeless grift. Wait until you hear just how much they're paying per person for homeless people in that city.
This is keratin debris, where nail fungus grows. Nonex nail gel cleans out fungus by removing keratin debris. Using Nonex, 90% of nails improve. Get clinically proven results. Nonex is made in the USA and so effective, it's money-back guaranteed. Lift out the fungus with Nonex. For clear, healthy-looking nails, use Nonex Fungal Nail Clarifying Gel. Buy Nonex at Amazon, CVS, Walgreens, and Walmart.
The flu season is here again. You can take your chances with a flu shot, or you can be prepared at home. Here's Dr. Peter McCullough to explain.
My advice is be prepared with a contagion emergency kit. When you get hit with a seasonal flu or other virus, hours count. Early intervention is your best line of defense. Your kit contains essential prescriptions to treat influenza A and B, pneumonia, bronchitis, sinus and ear infections, and other life-threatening illnesses. When symptoms strike, check your guidebook or contact one of our licensed providers. Take your medication and feel better faster. It's like having an urgent care and pharmacy in your own home.
Be prepared for any seasonal flu with a contagion emergency kit. Order online in minutes and save $50. Plus, you'll receive a free medical-grade nebulizer. Visit preparedagain.com/go. Promo code GO. That's preparedagain.com/go. Promo code GO.
A return to greatness with you at Trump Tower. Patriot Gold Group is the only gold company with this access.
It's about relationships and loyalty, conservative values and commitment.
Patriots protecting patriots since 2016. Over $1 billion in transactions and home of the no fee for life IRA.
Hey, I'm not just a spokesman, I'm a client since the very beginning.
Give Patriot Gold Group a call at 1-800-778-4156.
Patriot Gold Group is Consumer Affairs' top-rated gold and silver dealer nationwide. The only firm nationwide where you, the client, work directly with an owner. Home of the no fee for life IRA. See how easy it is to protect your IRA with physical gold and silver.
Call now, 1-800-778-4156.
Kevin Sorbo here, and I have an important message to share. The government needs more money, your money. If you owe the IRS back taxes, they can garnish your wages and levy your bank accounts. They can even seize your retirement or take your home. Don't let the IRS target you. Call the professionals at Tax Network USA. Their tax lawyers and enrolled agents are experts in powerful programs that may even help you eliminate your tax debt.
Call for a free consultation or visit tnusa.com.
It is literally no surprise that California is in a crisis. Newsom's leadership, the Golden State, which is leading the charge when it comes to crime, homelessness, gas prices, addiction, citizens leaving, frivolous lawsuits, illiteracy, business regulations, and a ton more. But not to mention, it's been unable to build even one home since those wildfires for any reasonable cost. But let's just do homelessness. Do you know how much that state is paying to remove one homeless person from the street? Get a load of this.
We are spending in the city of Los Angeles $900,000 per person that they're removing from the streets. $900,000
per year?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
There's billions and billions of dollars wasted. Redirect that to organizations that have incredible track records of being successful in Los Angeles.
$1 million for one hobo to be removed from the streets. Elon Musk posting this on X, saying that the NGOs are paid almost $1 million a year per homeless person. So their incentive, therefore, is to have super high and maximize the number of homeless people that never do anything that would reduce their number, like stopping the sale of fentanyl. Whatever you incentivize will happen. He's absolutely right. It seems like homelessness isn't a crisis for them. It's a business model for people cozying up to the government. I mean, they get it, and they get richer doing it. Economist John Jordan and California resident, sir, this is like bigger than the climate grift.
Oh, yeah, but the grift, Carl, in California is far greater in scope than many people realize. This $870 some odd thousand per spent was actually for a unit of housing. And this illustrates exactly the enormous regulatory burden imposed on California businesses and why people are leaving. It's not just state governments, it's local governments, all the boards and commissions, the Coastal Commission and so forth, that have to sign off on this. And everybody has a political reason to say no. Meanwhile, you have enormous pet projects like the railway, the train to nowhere, which is costing, was promised $8 billion, and now looks like it's over $100 billion now for about 90 miles worth of track. It's because these interests have bought and completely control California, especially unions and environmental groups. And there's no stopping it. But there's consequences for the rest of us if California bonds and California public employees unions go broke, and then we have municipal debt too. It's a huge problem, and this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, but you also have them building, like, I remember, I think it was like 2 years ago, they built this like high rise with a gym in it. It looked like a $10,000 a month Manhattan apartment complex with a doorman. And it was for homeless people, and they never moved any in.
Yeah, they don't believe in economics. They drive businesses out. But you're starting to see in California, especially maybe a little bit in San Francisco, some green shoots in this. The new mayor of San Francisco is trying to clean it up. Eventually, California they're going to have to answer to the people. And California can be quirky. Sometimes it'll rear up and vote against tax increases, for example. Yeah. But there's a coming divide between Sacramento and these moneyed entrenched interests, whether it's public employees unions, environmental groups, and so forth, that control Sacramento, and people that have had enough. And I'm hopeful that sometime there may be enough sanity breaking out in California that it may change, but certainly not in the near term and not with a lot of mess.
Yeah. The other thing, too, is, and this is Pieces in the Hill, if we can put this headline tear up from them about the jobs report. So the Hill writes this whole thing, why the jobs report won't be released this week. And the liberal left went nuts. They were like, it's because it's bad and all these things. No, idiots. It's because the government shut down and that office is not essential.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Carl. But this may not be a bad thing. As an economist, the Bureau of Labor Statistics has a really bad track record. First of all of this data is backwards looking anyway. It doesn't look forward. It's as limited predictive value, but it relies on surveys. And surveys have shown us, whether it's in political polling and other areas, that surveys don't work as well. There's all kinds of biases built in, people not responding, and certain people an axe to grind wanting to color them. And that's why you've had so many revisions. And the data collection really needs to be revisited. And how the government collects this data and publishes it so markets can act on it we need some straight talk and some strong conversations about that, because the old stuff just ain't working anymore.
Yeah. Well, I think the whole model is flawed. Like, if you're looking for work, if you're not working, they just got to revisit the whole thing. Maybe we just shouldn't listen to the government anymore. Anyway, John Jordan, we much appreciate it, sir.
All right, see you, Carl.
All right, before we go, it's time for the internet trolls to make fun of me. We got comments for Carl next.
The press won't report the real story.
The American people are actually very smart.
Ridiculous statements.
These guys are just plain weird.
Actual scandals.
Even the immunity decision. I mean, that decision was so misreported.
That's my job, and I aim to do it every night.
At Humana, we believe your health care should evolve with you, and part of that evolution means choosing the right Medicare plan for you. Humana can help. Hi. My name is Sam Davis, and I'm going to tell you about Medicare Advantage prescription drug plans that can provide more coverage than original Medicare, including prescription drug coverage, all wrapped up into one convenient plan. With original Medicare, you're covered for hospital stays and doctor office visits, but you have to meet a deductible for each, and then you're still responsible for 20% of the cost. Next, let's look at Medicare supplement plans. If a service is covered under original Medicare, then a Medicare supplement plan pays for some or all of your Medicare deductibles and the 20% co-insurance. But they may have higher monthly premiums and no prescription drug coverage. Humana Medicare Advantage prescription drug plans include medical coverage, plus prescription drug coverage, with $0 copays on hundreds of prescriptions. All plans include $0 copays for covered preventive dental services, vision coverage that includes vision exams and a yearly allowance toward eyewear, and hearing benefits that include routine hearing exams and coverage toward hearing aids. You could get $0 copays for in-network preventive services like primary care visits, mammograms, and prostate exams, and there's worldwide coverage for emergency and urgent care when you travel. Plus, Humana also offers Medicare Advantage plans. Plans have $0 or low monthly plan premiums, and there's a cap on your out-of-pocket costs. To see if Humana plans are available in your area, simply call the number on your screen or visit our website. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends on December 7th, so call now. Humana, a more human way to healthcare.
My employees and I want to thank all of you at Newsmax for your continued support of MyPillow. It's because of you and the grace of God that we're making it through. And to thank you, we're bringing you the best offers ever. Get our MyPillow bed sheets, only $29.88. Any color, any style, any size, even kings, regularly $119.98, now only $29.88. Our My Towels are finally back in stock. Get a 6-piece My Towel set, regular $69.98, now only $39.98. Towels that actually work. What a concept. And for the first time and the only time ever, you're going to get our limited edition premium My Pillows. They're made with Giza cotton and a designer gusset. Queen $17.98, Kings only $19.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code when you order today. Inventory for these offers are extremely limited, and once they're gone, they're gone.
We're talking to people today about investments. Let's see if we can get somebody. Excuse me, sir. Do you have a retirement account?
I do. I'm invested in some annuities.
Fixed income? How is that?
It was better a few years ago. Each year, it buys less and less, barely keeping up.
That's where gold can make a difference. Unlike fixed payouts, gold rises with inflation, so you're not stuck with a low fixed payment.
So gold isn't stuck in the past like my annuity?
Don't let inflation erode your retirement savings. Invest in gold. Invest with Noble Gold Investments.
All right, folks, it's Thursday. We're back with another comments for Carl. Let's get to it. Because I don't want to pay for illegal immigrants to have health care, this troglodyte said, here we go again with MAGA Trump cult wishing for poor people to die. This is the difference between us and them. Me not wanting to pay for something is apparently violating someone's right to life because they believe everybody deserves health care. But by their standard, that person should pay for my handguns then. And with tax dollars. Doubt they'll agree with that, but my problem with illegals using the emergency room as their primary care doctor, which is what I was talking about, is actually that does kill people like Amber Thurman, the woman who died after complications after taking the abortion pill because she was waiting around the ER that was overwhelmed by illegals in Atlanta. It had staffing cuts to compensate for unpaid bills from illegals. So it does kill people. You're the one who seems to want people to die. Here's another one. Actually, this is a really nice one. Carl, your show is therapy for us. Carl, we need to rant, foam at the mouth, scream, and yell, but we don't have a platform. Therefore, we do it vicariously through you, so it's healthy for us, to particular for your show. It's spectacular. We love you. Rick and Linda from Las Vegas. Thanks, guys, but from a medical standpoint, looking to me for therapy could actually be pretty dangerous. All right, remember when I ate tacos while we were talking about deporting illegals a couple months ago? This person said, sick, Newsmax host mocks deportation victims. I'm sorry. If you have a deportation order, you're not a victim. The American people who pay taxes are the victims because you're stealing from us while you're here illegally. Tacos were great, by the way. Rob, this is why we're winning, because of the meme wars.
What's a troglodyte? What is a troglodyte?
That's actually, the only reason I know that is because someone called me that. Apparently, it's like a knuckle-dragging version of a human being.
Oh, like a Neanderthal?
But someone called me it, so I looked it up once, and
okay.
There we go.
That's a good word, actually.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. I might have to steal that one.
You can re-joke it.
All right.
Take it away, Rob.
Carl, good to see you. Thanks so much.